You have so many more instead of you. Packing your bag?
Oh, well, yes, now that you mention it, of course not. Yes. Yes, I'm gonna fix that. I gotta get my spell checker back.
It would come out okay, I'll check.
Especially your wife letting you drive her car. Yeah.
Well, we even have gas and doesn't need anything.
Shell tour?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Why is my spell checker on my ear? I'm not gonna get that. It's terrible, there's embarrassments all over this.
I said, well, I'm your warning.
Now,
Okay, all right, we're gonna call this March 15th, Eyes of March meeting order. Pledge. Pledge allegiance.
to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So,
We have two people who
we have two people probably heard.
Well, this is first and then Randy.
You're up.
Okay. On Friday, the 10th of March, I went to dispatch to get a key for the television in the community center, television station, and there was only one key there. There wasn't another key for the community center itself in case someone who's disabled needs to use the inside ramp. And I talked to dispatch about it, both when I picked up the key and then at the end of the night when I dropped the key off. And they had not heard anything about there being a second key, and that, you know, they keep those books separate, community center in one book of signing out the key and TV station in another. It's been the case until the center was refurbished. Monday night, this last night, I went there to pick up the key and asked again, and they were unaware of any situation like that, where they're supposed to have a key for the community center door, the front door, so that someone can use the ramp there and inside get to the TV station. And then they advised that I talk with the supervisor of dispatch who would be in later. Well, I did speak later at a little after midnight with the supervisor of dispatch, who was, I forget her name, she has short dark hair and glasses, and is middle-aged. And she said, well, she'll look into it, but she hadn't heard anything. Jerry said, I was told by someone else on the TV station who had been in contact with Jerry, they were going to have a key there on the ring of the TV station key fob, so that anyone and everyone who goes there, if there's somebody who's disabled, there's a guest or an operator, a tech, or a TV producer, that they would be able to get in and out of there, hopefully, without too many barriers, even though the distance between the ramps and then, you know, going all the way from the front of the building back to the inside entrance of the TV station is a barrier in itself. So apparently, even though that was promised a long time ago, like at the completion of the center, it hasn't been done yet. And so I'd like that to be remedied. And if I have get a little bit more time, I just want to say that I see on the tree law that there's, you know, a lot about permitting of removal of trees and stuff like that, but when it comes to planting or replanting a tree, whether it's to enhance beauty or to replace a tree that was removed either necessarily or unnecessarily, there should be something added that a tree shall not be a genetically modified tree. And also, if there's anything that's a species that can seed invasive trees, whether it be Norway maple or any other kind of tree that might be such, that could also be written into the law. Okay.
I did speak with Alice Rice, and I guess the message wouldn't get passed forward to include that key.
Is that was Rice the supervisor?
No, Lori Hamilton is, but I will reach out to Lori Hamilton to make sure that the whole department, I thought the whole department would be informed, apparently it wasn't.
But we should just make a copy of the main door, and that should just go right on the TV station key ring.
No.
They shouldn't have to hand out keys.
Randy?
Yeah, excuse me. Bill McKenna, you're a liar.
Harsh words.
Yeah, harsh words. because you made a promise in front of everybody in front of the meeting that you were chairing. When I was concerned about this situation, I've been locked out of that TV station. There's been no way that I could enter that TV station what I was supposed to since the TV station opened. That's your fault. Because you made a big promise to everybody here that all the producers, the reason why that community center got a handicap accessibility certification from Jeremy Wilbur's old chum, what's his name? Malkeen, Giles Malkeen, was on the premise that the only accessibility being through the front, everybody who would be entering that community center would be getting a key. That's not right. That's wrong in its concept, but that's not even a concept because it never happened. And somebody like Ellen Poville, who I love, because I called her and I said, my feeling is I'm not wanted at that TV station because of all of this and because of other stuff that's gone on in the TV station, including with Rich Spool, who you so smugly said a couple of weeks ago that Rich Spool was in charge of everything regarding the TV station. Well, I couldn't get in there to point out some aerodynamic problems that are typical with Rich Spool. I'm not criticizing Rich Spool. Rich Spool tried. But I'm the only licensed broadcaster by the FCC in this room. And I'm trying to figure out whether it's some content of mine or why the hell I'm being oppressed this way. I spent many Sundays in that back room paying $50 for the privilege of drumming with our group. And on a nice day, when the drummers would want to go out, they would jump off the back of that deck or whatever that I can't even get near. Because all of the things that I suggested, all of the ideas to make it safe for disabled people, not one, Bill, has ever been followed through on. There's no sign on the closet door that disabled people have to go into to get to the upper level of that community center. There should be no doors on that ramp. They shouldn't be able to close it off because you're putting the disabled in a closet. Shame on you. I am so disgusted, and Jeremy, you just have enabled all of this. All this time that this has gone on, that Kathy Magarelli and Lion Bill McKenna, you've sat there in the middle, or sometimes you haven't been there, but you enabled them. And this community center is now a feeling of oppression towards me, and I don't even want to go there. My goal is to find the technology to hook up the radio studio with video and send it down to the TV station, because in the radio station that I run, disabled and able people get to it the same way. And that's disabled accessibility. All this other stuff is bullshit. I'm so disgusted.
I've asked before, and I'm asking again, that conversations here, back and forth, be done in a reasonable manner. I understand that people have strong feelings about lots of subjects, but we have to talk reasonably to each other. That doesn't mean that one's language can't be used as you choose.
I've been reasonable all along, and look where it's gotten me.
You can call, anybody can call somebody a liar. I don't think that's unreasonable. May not be nice, but it's not unreasonable. But let's do it, please, without the screaming and the hollering.
That doesn't get me anywhere.
Okay.
Certainly
Carry
has
on.
been neglect.
Anyone else?
That's it. We're good. Announcements.
Took back to file, but Lauren and Richard and Jim, you're the lead here.
I don't know if people got what I sent emailed out last night. I sent basically a synopsis of town historian. So basically, we're here about, and it's good timing since St. Patrick's Day is Thursday. We're here to talk about the Keegan Bell, which is removed from the church during the building of the community center. And I said basically the same thing around to everybody, figuring it out if you haven't seen it, with pictures, and Lauren has the plans. I invited Lauren and Mr. Hanson along. They didn't want to come, but I told them it was a Trump rally. And I got them here. I got them here.
And it sounded well.
So basically,
Didn't it?
so basically what we're talking about is the Keegan, well, I'm going to call the Keegan Bell. Okay?
Sitting big this stuff out, we had the whole. I'm sorry.
The Keegan Bell is named after Peter Keegan, and I'll get to him in a minute. But basically, the bell is symbolic of a unique period in Woodstock history. Following the Civil War, as the glassmaking industry went away and the tanning industry was waning, bluestone quarrying in this town was basically the primary economic driver of the town's economy. Equally important, however, is that many Irish workers who undertook the hard work of the quarrying, quarrying the large stones along the base of Overlook and Ohio Mountain, were representative of the countless number of immigrants who made their way to American shores in the latter half of the 19th century. So together, these workers, of which Peter Keegan was one, who the name bell was dedicated to, quarried bluestone that was really prized around the world. So this proposed project for public display of the Keegan Bell would honor that unique period in our town's history, as well as those individuals who dedicated their lives to a specialized craft, and it really was a specialized craft, cutting that stone, that once sustained Woodstock. And in doing so, their contributions and their creative skills represent just one more example of the diversity and the basic individualism of those who filled the pages of Woodstock's story. The Keegan Bell, as you know, was removed from the Mescalonda Community Center. It was originally cast to honor the lives of Peter Keegan and his wife, Anne Clare. The Keegan children donated the bell to St. John's Church in 1922, which is the same year the church opened its doors. Keegan, like I said, was a stone cutter. He arrived in this country around 1870 as part of the Irish immigrant wave following the famine, and made his way to Woodstock. And he arrived with a brother and a sister. At some point following his arrival in this country, he found work here in Woodstock in our quarries. Like I said, Keegan and his family were part of a large Irish immigration at the time, then working in quarries in Woodstock, and forming what a lot of people don't know about was the Irish village in Woodstock, which was off of Lewis Hollow Road. At the time, and almost in parallel with the rise of the mountain houses, quarrying served as Woodstock's primary industry and represented the major source of employment in town, helping to sustain the local economy well into the late 1800s. At the end, eventually the bluestone industry slowly tails off because somebody brilliant invented cement. Basically what happens then is Keenan and a lot of the Irish workers from the Irish village found work constructing the Ashokan Reservoir. Following those years, after the reservoir construction was complete, the record kind of becomes fuzzy and incomplete. The census records I found are located, I found Anne, the wife, in New York City much later, but the records for Peter Keegan stopped at a certain point. I assume he died at some point, and that's why the records stopped. According to the records, however, Peter and Anne Keegan had 16 children. Which reminds me of the Groucho Marx story that I won't tell.
Don't get them started.
The one with the cigar?
Yeah. So, the Keegan Bell was cast by the Mendeley Bell Company of Troy. The company was founded in 1826 and ceased production in 1952. The average weight of the bells produced by the company in 1921 were between 600 and 700 pounds. Lauren hasn't lifted this one yet, so we're not quite sure how heavy it
I
is.
tipped it a little bit.
The actual materials used in construction of the Mendeley bells Needs to be studied a little further, but basically the early bells produced by the company were a mixture of copper and tin. Later bells, which this is probably one of, either from bronze or cast iron. Company documents proclaim that the bells were noted for their unequal combination, there we go, of sonoriousness, which basically means deep. I'm just trying to throw some nice words out there. And purity of tone. The Keegan bell, the Keegan bell that we have, Lauren discovered, and Jim, actually has 2 tone settings. The first tone is associated with normal tone we associate with bells being rung in celebration or called worship. The second setting produces a more mournful tone to be used for funerals and in more somber occasions. Many bells can be found worldwide. Locally, the company records indicate that bells were cast for the Bard College Bell Tower and the Sotheby's Lighthouse. And a similar bell can also be found in the Washington Chapel at Valley Forge. The Mendeley Company cast the Columbian Liberty Bell for the World's Columbus Exposition in Chicago, 1893, and I attached in the email I sent to you a New York Times article about that, which 1,000 people showed up in Troy to see it cast. If you've ever read the book, The Devil in the White City, okay, this is the Columbus Exposition. That book is the subject of that book. This bell was for that exposition. Plans for the bell, you want to talk about construction? Or?
Well, we would do it very similar to the kiosk out here.
Which is beautiful.
This tree, which is gone now, Mike Reynolds said that he would dig the stump out and we have our hole. I love it when things start to build themselves. So. And if I asked him, he said probably dump 3-foot stone in there. We pour a 12.
He probably would.
I think he would. We pour a 12-inch monolithic slab in there with more steel than it needs, just because I'm that way. And then we bring up a 3-foot pedestal, stone pedestal, with a 5x5, 3-inch thick capstone on it, because the long way on that bell cradle is 4'6", and then we'll take 4 posts up off that and 4 hip rafters. So it's kind of 4 triangles, where this one out here is a 3. It'll be smaller. We thought of going and just make it like a wishing well, but someone said that would look too trailer parky. I don't know who said that.
I did.
And if we did it, we could do it octagonal.
Might raise some money.
I was gonna say, there goes the revenue stream.
We could do it octagonal, but that gets to looking a little phallic maybe, and I don't think it's really necessary. I think it's.
So square, so you're looking at square.
We're looking at square, yeah, with just 4 hip rafters, 4 triangles on top. And I didn't put any heights on there because usually we hold something up and decide if that looks.
Yeah, look where it looks right.
Yeah, so I didn't put dimensions on it that I just ignore later, so.
Okay, a couple of questions if I could. Well, first of all, I know what you told me before where the tree is, and for those that don't know, the tree that is being had is between the community center and the youth center, so that's where the bell would go, is between the community center and the youth center. So my question is, and I think it's wonderful, first of all, I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm just curious, so the bell will actually be, the weight of it will be resting on these supports here, right?
Well,
It's not hanging from the roof or anything? It's-
No,
It's going to be a big stone, 5 foot by 5
but
foot
no,
stone.
the bell, here's pictures of it. The bell has its own cradle.
This is basically the base without the roof.
This is going to be one big flat stone.
Can I have
And
one?
the cradle
My
is
printer
gonna sit
isn't
on
very
top.
good.
All this is part of it, printing, this cradle
It's
that sits
between,
on, see all this
community
dark shade and
center
stuff?
and- yeah.
That's all part of it.
In that patches green? Okay.
We're missing a couple pieces, but we can easily
Cool.
manufacture those.
And that's
Yeah.
basically.
We're missing the 2 caps out here.
But I don't know they were there.
They might not, I mean, who knows, the bell's not gonna fly us out of there anyway, so they're kind of overkill, but.
And is this kind of, you would ring the bell with this? Is this-
This is a big wheel. That's that wheel you're looking
Oh, it's
at.
the wheel.
You look at the end.
Two
And
ways
that
to
had-
ring
That had the lanyard that
Oh,
went over it.
I see, okay.
Right, and then there's a second little clanger down here that gets up in the bell.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
Now, we would lock all this so that it could be rung, but you'd have to unlock it. Otherwise, every clown in the world would be out there ringing the bell and made it half a bagger on.
Yeah, right. I would.
You could block the
So we'd lock the wheel so it wouldn't turn, so you couldn't, and then we'd lock the lower clanger. And we could even, deaden it, we could ram some foam insulation or something up inside it, so that if somebody does hit it with something, it's not gonna resound. Then if you wanna ring it for something, you just have to.
Oh, Memorial Day comes to mind, I don't know if you want to ring it for Memorial Day, it's just tossing it out.
Well, that's
Anyway.
getting close here, so let's.
Well, I'm not saying next year.
Memorial
Next year, next year, yeah.
Are you going to remove the stump?
The tree's gone, and
I know.
Mike said that he would dig the stump out for me, and that would give us our, and then I'm sure he'll dump some stone in there, bring us up a foot below grade, and we'll just go to work on it.
Also, I just want, we're not asking the town to fund this project. We intend to raise the money ourselves. We'll certainly take anything you want to give us, but the idea is that this will be community funded.
And Keegan, he'll
Where?
give you a few bucks.
I asked him, there's no relation.
There's no relation.
So what?
Where is
We can tell you
the,
some paper.
Let's get cracking.
That unit clanger on there might be something that they'd want to use for Veterans Day or
Yeah,
those kind
I
of
think
things
that-
that,
Sure.
And especially Veterans Day,
Because
because it's
it's-
right there.
it's close enough so you could do it. It's a low muffled bell when you use the side one.
No, this one out here, we
Where
gotta
is
clean
the
up the
stone?
stonework on it.
that was
They say-
the founding stone that was in
Works and
the,
That we
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know
I
that.
can walk around that and see stuff.
We got two conversations going on here.
The church, I managed to get that to the church. The
Ah.
cornerstone, they put that in their garden over
where St. John's? Good.
Yeah, there was a cornerstone that Jake discovered before construction started that the church wanted. So basically, what we're looking at is honoring a unique period in Woodstock history. And really, what's happening too is as Woodstock changes, as it always does, people get further away from these types of historical developments in our town. And it serves, I think, as an important reminder, not only to the quarry industry, but really to the people who really made this town back in the late 1800s and worked here and lived here and would come down. The story that Alf told me the story. The story is on election day. You probably heard this one. Yeah, when the Irish village was going full speed, full steam up the base of the mountain. The Irish stone cutters would come down the town to vote, and they were all Democrats. The town was all Republican, right? And they would be met by a rather unfriendly group of local youth. Right? And of course, it was election day, and election day used to be a much more liquid affair than it is today. And,
Oh, yeah?
yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but
And for an Irishman, any excuse.
well, anyway, there were more than a few brawls over the years on election day on the village green. That's not what we're honoring. We're honoring the craftsmanship and the lives of the people there.
Will you be doing a plaque on the?
Yes, there'll be a brief plaque. Unfortunately, those things can get expensive.
Oh, sure.
Every letter gets to be $100 or something like that. So there'll be a brief history or a brief something,
Yeah.
2 sentences that kind of wraps
Yeah,
it all
sure,
up.
cool.
To the Irishman of Woodstock.
I have one or two things to say. It's not going to be too long. Nobody minds. Free speech, tolerance. I had a vision, a very quick vision of the beautiful white rooftops of this beautiful little town founded on tolerance is what this town is founded on. I would recommend not cutting off freedom of speech, even if you have to take an insult or two personally. It's not going to kill your career. Please.
Who did we cut off?
Who did we cut off? I sat here and listened to the whole thing.
Well, tonight, I didn't hear him get cut off.
As a
In general.
neutral, as a neutral observer, I thought they took quite a beating.
I recommend it. That's my recommendation.
We criticism.
Hold on to the tolerance, dude. That's the foundation of the town. You don't have a town without the tolerance. It's just not there. It won't be there.
Love and tolerance.
Yes. How long have you lived here?
About 20 dude.
20 years? No.
Yeah. Praying the whole goddamn time.
You what?
Been praying the whole goddamn time I've been here.
Playing?
That's right, dude.
Keep it up.
So,
Yeah, keep it up.
what would you like from
We
the
would
town?
like your
What's our
permission.
next step?
We would like your permission, your good graces, to begin raising money. And,
Do you think you used any of the stone from the California quarry for this?
We
Well-
used some out here, but it's been picked for
Yeah,
pretty
that's what
good.
I figured.
And
Can we do it?
I got some other sources of people who, for this, were very generous, let us to pick a lot of stone, and they've indicated that they would do so again. So it's local, it's right here, it's just not off of that. And I found some others out by the dump, where that little stream runs through, just the old dump, our dump, where that stream runs through. There's some nice chunks down in there, and Mike said he would run the loader over there for me, so I could throw them in the bucket and don't have to carry them all the way out of there. And if we get real lucky, he might be able to stick the bucket into there's a fairly nice block out there, and we might be able, we need a 5x5 piece for the top. If he can shell that off of there with the loader, that saves us like $500.
Wow.
And he said he'd give it a try. So, yeah, but it'll all be, no stone will be more than probably 10 miles from here if we have to go. The capstone would probably come from Downsville if we buy it.
Because we
That's where
found
they're cutting.
several local quarries that would let us get stone when we were doing out here.
Yeah, no, people have been really,
We can get it locally from people.
yeah, no, people were just fantastic with this one. They gave us stone, helped us load it. So, and I don't think getting the money's gonna be a big problem, because everybody I talked to about this is pretty enthusiastic. I know somebody that was married in there, I know somebody else that worked there, and they're all, they'd love to see it, so.
If you know anybody whose funeral was there?
I could find out.
Our historian might be able to find out.
I was married there.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
But
If that-
I don't think we can put a claim against the estate at this point anyway, so.
If the bell is installed uninsulated, can it be insulated, underneath later on?
Yeah, well, there's like this much clearance between the bell and the stone, so you'd be able to reach up in there and stick some foam up in there or something.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I think it's wonderful. And as far as the execution, after what you did with that kiosk out there, I have no doubt, it's absolutely beautiful.
And Jim's gonna make something out of me someday.
Good for you, Jim.
Yeah, I
It seemed like a hopeless cause.
I have to wear heavy shoes.
Not to make your job any harder,
Yeah.
but instead of cedar posts, oak might be nice, local oak.
Well, might do that. A cedar just probably lasts a little longer without being treated or anything like that. I gotta talk to Jordan Volker, sawed all that stuff for us, and he might saw it all for me again. But,
Right.
I'll see if he's got them. I'm not. The one we did cedar because he had them,
Right.
and it does hold up. The red cedar does hold up.
So is that local cedar that he?
That is, yeah.
Those posts show as 4x4s, but aesthetically, we may change to 5x5s. So it looks a little
Yeah.
sturdier, because a 4x4 may look a little more.
If he's custom sawing us for it,
You can do whatever.
doesn't make any difference.
And I just wanted to say, you certainly have my support as well. I think it's a good idea and a perfect use for that bell. I think I'm delighted to see this plan for the bell.
Well, it's better than it sitting over in the salt shed, which is where it is now, so.
Now, I just have to warn you and Jim, after the last letter that I sent to you expressing the town's gratitude for your work on the kiosk, I've run out of superlatives. So I don't know how I'm gonna thank you for this.
The way I was raised, I have to look all those words up.
At least you made the effort to do that. A lot of people would have thrown it in the garbage.
Well, so is the
I have
town,
one
are we okay
more,
with this?
one
We
more
okay
little
with
thing to
this?
say if nobody minds.
On this?
If there's not free speech in Woodstock, perfect free speech, if there's not free speech here, where is there free speech? This is like the last bastion, you guys. It's a very serious condition on this planet right now. This is where it is. This is where the, if it's not here, where is it? Okay, just think about it. It's a very small planet. There's not that much free speech on it.
Thank you.
Okay? Thanks.
I think you have the imprimatur of the town board.
Yeah.
Don't look that word up.
Probably not, yeah. I might get a vaccination.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
Jeremy?
Thank you.
One of the things you might consider is setting up a TNA account for them so they can collect on it.
Yeah, I'd sit down and talk to Hannah once we get.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Kind of like we did with the Cobalt kiosk,
Mhm.
which, by the way, the panels were finished the other day and they're about ready to be
Is April 12th soon enough
for.
for the trust and agency? Do you want it sooner?
Oh, yeah.
Soon enough? Okay, we'll put it on our April 12th agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
We'll keep the cash in tin cans until then.
No, not happening.
It'll be like Jewel Simpkins when he used, years ago, long before my time, he ran
Who?
Jewel Simpkins.
The insurance guy?
No, he ran a Lake Hill store and the post office in Lake Hill. And he had the store money in one pocket and the post office money in the other.
I remember that very well. I didn't know that that was the guy's name. I know after him was Murphy.
Yeah.
And then, but I never knew the first guy's, well, the first guy, the guy before him. That was his name. Jules what?
Jewel Simpkins
Jules Simpkins.
is his name.
Uh-huh.
Classic
So
name.
I'll keep the money in my other pocket.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
Important point. Excuse me, no. Were you, in terms of free speech, hello?
Oh, here, he wants to do
In
that.
terms of free speech, I would hate to see anything happen around here that diminished it. Were you referring to my suggestion about the volume or the degree of,
They can't get into the studio. They have like this incredible freedom of speech stuff. They have millions of people saying that they want, they are able to get out there to people, and they can't even get into the station now. It's crazy.
I wondered whether you were relating to my suggestion that we speak reasonably politely to each other here.
That's cool. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
They do a good job of getting the people information that is useful to them, whether they're polite here or not. I understand it's difficult to let someone have their emotions, and I understand that. I didn't enjoy that particularly myself, truth be told. But just consider it, please. I mean, in the interest of freedom of speech. I understand, it's not great. They do a bang-up job.
Do you mean consider getting a key down there so they can get in?
Yeah, get them in there. And everybody else.
Nobody's fighting that. It was supposed to have happened. It was a goof on somebody's part.
Months ago.
Concerned, yeah.
What?
Months ago.
Well, wait a second. You went looking for the key on Friday. You didn't find it. So it didn't happen. Nobody knew about it until you just brought it to our attention.
Months ago, the solution was said by
Yeah.
you to say,
And that was
we're gonna
supposed to
have two
happen.
keys.
And nobody's looked for the two
And it was
keys since.
several- it was
And no
several
one has looked
months.
for the, hold on, my turn to talk now.
Well,
Listen to
it's
you.
several months that you had to do this, from the time you said you're gonna do it until now.
And that was several
And
months
it wasn't
ago.
done.
It didn't.
The TV station's
Can
only
I
been open
now,
for a
okay.
month.
I didn't look.
Free speech goes both ways.
Yes, it does. But when
Free
you say
speech goes
something
both-
that's incorrect,
Free
and I'm
speech,
being polite by saying it's incorrect.
okay, I'm done talking about it. You don't want to listen to
I'll listen to
Laura.
you, but you
I'm
had several
done.
months from what you said you were going to do it
Yes, let's
until
move on.
now.
We're done.
It hasn't been done.
I'd like to offer the following announcement. The Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency on Saturday, April 16, 2016, by appointment, will take free of charge up to 220 pounds or 25 gallons of household hazardous waste and pharmaceutical waste. If you have any questions, call 336-0600 to schedule an appointment, or visit www.ucrra.org. So again, this is for if you, a household, not a business, a household, you've got old paint cans around, you've got old, bug spray around, you've got pharmaceuticals around you want to get rid of, you can free of charge take them to the Ulster County Resource Agency on Saturday, April 16 by appointment, and they will take up to, free of charge, up to 220 pounds of this waste or 25 gallons. And so that's that.
And I've done it several times, Jeremy, just so that you guys, and it works, the appointment works. They're so organized, it's amazing. And you're in and out there in 5 minutes.
And it's hard to get rid of that stuff.
It
so
is
it's-
very hard,
People
so
should take
they do
advantage.
a great job.
Yeah, people should take advantage of it while it's available because it maybe happens once a year, perhaps. It's not every day, so.
Okay, so, any other announcements? Yes, sir. Oh, no, okay, well, let's do some business. So we're not going to accept minutes this month, we're going to wait until the real town clerk. is
Until the
back in
real
town.
town clerk.
I let you and your daughter doing a fine job over there, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Be it resolved to accept the town clerk's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to authorize transfers per the transfer sheet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to authorize payment of audited vouchers in the amount of $109,426.35.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nice light.
I'll just send them the 35 cents and we'll keep the rest. Be it resolved to schedule a public hearing for April 12, 2016 at 10:30 p.m. at the town offices for the purpose of taking public comment pursuant to Article 4, Section 64-10B of the New York State Town Law on the town's intention to close Maple Lane on each Wednesday from the hours of 2 p.m. to dusk. These weekly closures to begin May 18 and end after October 26, 2016. Make that little correction. Doing the scalp and all the resolutions. And be it further resolved to authorize the town clerk to post in the next edition of the town's official newspaper the following notice. At a meeting of the Woodstock Town Board held on March 15, 2016, the following resolution was adopted. Be resolved to schedule a public hearing on April 19 at 7:30 p.m. April 12. April 19, you see, I scalped again. On April 12 at 7:30 p.m. in offices for the purpose of taking public comment pursuant to Article 4, Section 64-10-B of the New York State Town Law on the town's intention to close Maple Lane on each Wednesday from the hours of 2 p.m. to dusk. These weekly closures begin May 18 and end after October 26, 2016.
Oh, 16. Oh, the 16 is
By
one.
order of the town
It's
board.
one of those spots.
He corrected it.
2 spots?
Yep.
By order of the town board, Jackie Early, town clerk.
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
Whereas the City of Kingston Water Commissioners have initiated 3 projects to rehabilitate water main transmissions in their water system. And whereas one of the projects is to perform in the town of Woodstock and Kingston Reservoir Number 1 located on Zima Road in the southeast portion of the town. And whereas the project of the town of Woodstock proposes to, 1, install a structural liner approximately 1,600 feet of 1883 precast Class A transmission main. Explanation. In July 2015, a pressure transient caused the catastrophic failure of the 1883 Arrow Pit Cast 18-inch Class A main that extends from 1,600 feet near Reservoir 1 to the treatment plant. The repair was made following the break, but the main could not be returned to service without loss of 800,000 gallons per day of water. It is suspected that the pressure transient caused the joints to open on this segment of pipe, and as a result, the pipe was taken out of service. Presently, all flow into the plant is on the 20-inch main. In addition to the loss of redundancy, this presents hydraulic challenges for the efficient operation and loading of the filters. The project proposes to provide a structural liner for this main and install appropriate valves so that these mains can be effectively isolated and controlled. The cost of this phase of the project is $900,000. And whereas this project is maintenance and not construction of a new system, and whereas there are no other areas in the town of Woodstock affected by the 3 components of the project, therefore be it resolved to authorize the supervisor to consent to the City of Kingston Water Commissioner's declaration of lead agency for the purpose of environmental review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved to authorize the supervisor to sign the mayor's for peace registration form supporting the worldwide abolition of nuclear weapons.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological movement disorder of the central nervous system. And whereas it is estimated that more than 1 million Americans are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Whereas increased education and research are needed to help find more effective treatments and fewer side effects. Somebody will fix that effective for me. With fewer side effects and ultimately a cure for Parkinson's disease. Whereas members of our community suffer from Parkinson's, as did a former member of the Woodstock Town Board, is a member of the town board, Councilman Steve Knight. Whereas April has been proclaimed Worldwide Parkinson's Awareness Month with the hope that more attention will lead to more research, as well as assistance in dealing with the devastating effects of Parkinson's disease. Therefore, be it resolved, the Woodstock Town Board joins municipalities from around the world in proclaiming April as Parkinson's Awareness Month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved to appoint Peter Benson to temporary 90-day full-time officer at $22.70 per hour effective April 1, 2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Jay is asked to take trees off of this week's agenda. We're going to do some more work on the proposal. And that concludes our business. Any other business?
When you say,
The Valentine.
yes,
Mhm.
no, you're sparing her from studying, do for us on yours.
Oh, is that what she suggested?
Something along those
Something
lines.
like that, yes. I think I'm just going to let that
Ah.
sleeping dog lie.
All right.
Which sleeping dog?
If there's no other business, I'll move to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thomas, where are you parked?
Over here.
I'm going to pull my car up.